When life throws stress at you, routines break, emergencies happen, plans collapse, does your day still run? Or do you have to hold everything together with memory, effort, and willpower? Because being busy can look impressive, but being organized actually looks calm. And those are not the same thing. Let me show you the difference. Unorganized is running late. Organized is being prepared. Unorganized is throwing things together at the last minute. Organized is planning in sequence with time, tools, and resources already accounted for. Unorganized is messy, uneven, improvised. Organized is lined up, squared away, repeatable. Unorganized is doing things as they come. Organized is doing things for a reason. Step 1. The illusion of organization. Most people think they're organized because they're always doing something. Lists, apps, notes, reminders, calendars. But activity is not a structure, and motion isn't control. Here's the test. When life applies pressure, does your system hold, or do you hold everything together manually? If your day only works when you're pushing, remembering, reminding, and rescuing, you're not organized. You're compensating. That looks like this. Always behind, always working hard, always reorganizing instead of operating, always reacting instead of deciding. That's not leadership. That's firefighting. Now, here's how you beat it. First, the power of no. If everything is a priority, nothing is. Cut tasks, cut commitments, cut obligations that don't move the system forward. Second, reduce the load. Simplify. Standardize. Do things the same way instead of reinventing them. Third, delegate down. Kids run checklists. Family owns routines. Employees own processes. Fourth, delegate up. If it requires authority, resources, or approval, push it to the level that can solve it. Don't carry problems that don't belong to you. The moment you stop trying to do everything yourself, your system starts to breathe. Step 2. Organization exists before pressure. Real organization doesn't show up when things go wrong. It shows up before they do. Because stress doesn't create chaos. Stress reveals it. Here's the definition. Organization is the intentional arrangement of time, resources, information, and energy. So decisions and actions become easier, faster, and repeatable. In other words, decisions are already made. The way things get done is already defined. When pressure hits, you don't think. You execute. At a personal level, that's how your mornings run. How you pay your bills. How you handle conflict. How you recover from a bad day. At a family level, it's how dishes get put away. How homework gets done. How bedtime works. How weekends are planned. Now zoom out. At an organizational level, roles are clear. Processes are defined. Outcomes are predictable. People aren't guessing. And work doesn't bottleneck. That's why corporations, governments, and large enterprises don't run on memory or motivation. They run on structure. A corporation, a governance board, a military unit, any organization. Same principle. The way a thing is done is explained, taught, and repeated. Standard operating procedures, playbooks, policies, doctrine, checklists, different names, same function. This is how we do this. If everything depends on one person pushing progress, it's not organized, it's fragile. And when that person disappears, the system collapses. Step 3. Systems run from beginning to end. Real systems don't just manage the middle. They manage the whole life cycle from beginning to end. Think about an organization. Onboarding, training, standards, how people greet each other, how work is reviewed, how performance is corrected, how people grow, and how people leave. That's what makes it stable. Now bring that back to yourself. How do habits start? How do they get corrected? How do you review your own performance? How do you upgrade your own systems? If you only manage the daily grind, you never control the system. And here's what most people miss. Every system runs on rewards and discipline, not punishment, not praise. Feedback. What gets rewarded gets repeated. What gets ignored fades. What gets corrected gets refined. And this applies everywhere. Families, businesses, governments, teams, and you. But it has to be used with intelligence because temperament matters. What motivates one person can shut another one down, especially with emotional or unruly children. So the response must match the results you want, the situation, the emotions involved, and the person you're dealing with. And here's the other half. Environment shapes behavior. What's visible, what's easy, what's hard. Systems don't just train people, they shape them. Sometimes you encourage, sometimes you correct. Sometimes you set a hard boundary. Sometimes you support. That's not being soft, that's being precise. Because the goal isn't control, the goal is growth. And systems that grow get stronger. Step 4. The stress test with resolution. Here's how you test a system. First, when something unexpected happens, do you adapt or panic? You don't need more motivation. You need buffers and flexibility, margins in your day, white space in your schedule, financial breathing room, and the ability to shift heavy work off of bad days. Strong days carry the load. Weekdays maintain the system. That's how momentum survives. Second, when your schedule breaks, do you recover or spiral? Build reset systems, weekly reviews, default routines, a way back on track without emotion. Third, can someone step into your role and understand what's happening? If not, document the path. Written steps, visual guides, checklists, that's how you climb, and how other climbs with you. If it's only in your head, the system stops with you. Fourth, if you miss one day, does it fall apart or self-correct? Build anchors, default actions, triggers, routines that pull you back without force. Simple signals that say, this is how we operate. Highly organized systems don't break. They bend. They self-correct. Disorganized systems collapse. Everything feels urgent. Everything depends on effort. Step 5. Systems thinking. Macro to micro. This way of thinking isn't new. It comes from engineering, military planning, governance, business, computer science. People studied how complex systems behave, how inputs become outputs, how feedback changes performance, how small failures cascade, and how strong systems create stability. Here's the model: inputs, processes, outputs, feedback. At the macro level, governments turn laws, taxes, and people into public order. Corporations turn labor, capital, and information into products and profit. Militaries turn people, equipment, and commands into coordinated action. At the micro level, mornings turn sleep and time into momentum. Budgets turn income into security or stress. And habits, whether good or bad, result in the life you have. Standard ways of doing things. Call them standard operating procedures, routines, rules, principles, systems, whatever name they go by, they all work the same. They remove the guesswork. They remove friction. They turn effort into results. Step 6. Compartmentalization and breaking things down. One of the most powerful tools for organization is this: break things down, all the way down. Goals become projects, projects become steps, steps become actions, actions become habits. This is compartmentalization. It's how presidents run governments, how generals run campaigns, how CEOs run companies, and how parents run households. Different scale, same system. You don't carry the whole structure in your head. You run one clear piece at a time. Step 7. The field manual recap. Let's pull this into a system you can actually run. Here's the sequence. Step 1. Define what organized means for you. Not busy, not clean, but calm, repeatable, and resilient under pressure. Step 2. Decide what matters. Use the power of no. Cut tasks, cut commitments. Protect the work that moves the system forward. Step 3. Standardize the way things get done. Write it, teach it, repeat it. Turn memory into checklists. Turn chaos into procedures. Step 4. Delegate and distribute the load. Down to routines, across to teammates. Up the chain when authority or resources are required. Step 5. Build buffers and anchors. Strong days carry heavy work. Weekdays maintain the system. Use routines, triggers, and default actions to pull yourself back on track. Step 6. Calibrate with feedback. Reward what you want repeated. Correct what needs refining. Match your response to temperament, situation, and environment. Step 7. Break everything down. Goals into projects, projects into steps, steps into actions, actions into habits. That's how you turn vision into daily reality. The win and the gap. Here's the win. Organization isn't about doing more. It's about building a life that works in your favor. When you replace force with structure, you create a gap. In that gap, you gain clarity, margin, control, momentum. From a president in the Oval Office to a parent at the kitchen table, the principle is the same. Systems create sovereignty. In the next video, we'll build the habits, routines, and resources that turn this into something you can actually run. Because when systems are in place, effort stops leaking and starts compounding.